Hi, Chris Lotz
Hi, this is Pat Lotz
with the Pat Lotz Real Estate Group. Thank you for tuning in to episode 5 of Beyond the Keys, a Pat Lotz podcast. Please like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for all new content. Today we are talking about the 10 ways to get your offer accepted in the seller's market. So, tip number 1, make your offer as clean as possible.
Clean. You know what? The biggest thing is there's no contingencies on, the sale or closing of the buyer's home. So clean is, your standard contingencies would be inspection, financing.
That's it.
And
with that being said, sometimes people submit offers, which I understand. You can't buy until you sell, but a lot of offers right now are coming in contingent on the sale of their home. It doesn't make it dirty, it just makes it a little bit more complicated. So apples to apples, when you're looking at offers, when you're looking at same price, one's contingent and one is non-contingent, probably going to lead towards the non-contingent one.
That's correct. And I know that it's challenging because buyers are wanting to have a home before they sell, but there's got to be some other strategy there.
Yeah, and it might come up later, but we are seeing people waive inspection. And not necessarily waive appraisal, but they're covering that appraisal gap coverage. So, kind of when you submit offers and if you have an appraisal guarantee and you're waiving inspection or it's purely pass and fail, those are your two contingencies. So your standard contract contingencies are kind of out the door.
Still a lot of risk to it.
Some people, I haven't seen it and we haven't done it in a while, but sometimes people do ask for closing costs.
Yes.
And again, that's not a dirty thing, but it makes it a little more complicated and it's not as clean as possible. Just think offer price, appraisal guarantee, standard inspection.
And again, when competing, that's not even on the table.
No. Avoid asking for personal property.
Yeah.
I joke about it. I've been doing this for as long as you, but I've been joking about it for the past few weeks or so. We love personal property. Personal property just makes things a little bit more complicated.
Yep, and it's more of a personal, emotional type of negotiation, and then sellers take things personal. So just keep personal property off the table. If you want to chat about it after offers, that's fine.
That's what I say. Let's get the house under contract and then say, hey, we kind of like that couch. Hey, we kind of like that bookshelf. It kind of fits the space. Mm-hmm. Is that something that you're willing on leaving us, or can we purchase that from you? Mm-hmm. So get the house under contract and then ask about that personal property. And then compare that to other offers. When you look at offers that are, they're both clean apples to apples, but one is asking for exclusions. Well, we want that hot tub. Well, we want those speakers. Oh, we want that TV stand. Mm-hmm. It makes it just another thing to fight through. So the less things that you have to fight through, the less complicated it is and the more clean it is.
Well, and I think what it says to buyers is that we have particular buyers that are going to sort of be beating us up on stuff. Mm-hmm. We don't want to project that at all.
Yeah. The next one is pretty self-explanatory, and everyone's doing it, but offer above asking. Definitely not the market to be getting a deal or doing lowball offers, no. And then even arguing about, a few $1,000s, because in the big picture, what I'm always told by our lenders is 10K is about 50 to 60 depending on interest rate. So the difference between winning and losing in my mind is $50 to $60 a month or $10,000 to win or lose.
Well, yeah, in a 30-year mortgage, it's not a lot of money. So weigh that and have the lender give you that difference.
Mm-hmm. And it's not like you need to be $10,000 over the next offer. You just need to be 2 to 3, less contingencies, clean, straightforward, hopefully a great relationship with the agent on the other side and the lender on the other side. Mm-hmm. You might have a slam dunk offer. So the next one is anything you wanted to point out on that though too, above asking?
Nope, and I think too, like you said, is that it just depends on the product. Mm-hmm. It depends on making that conversation, establishing that rapport with the other agent and say, how many offers do you have? Well, the more offers you have, probably the more popular the property is, and you just have to, get guidance from your buyer's agent.
Yeah, and it's not about blowing out the other offers. It's about showing the sellers that you're truly passionate about that home, that you really are interested in, and you are willing to be a little bit over other offers to show their willingness. Because when you look at a lot of things on paper, you want to get the warm and fuzzies from the actual offer, and you see that through offer price, down payment, earnest money deposit, so on and so forth. So just show them that you're willing to really buy this house. With that being said, put down a stronger earnest money deposit. In some situations, it's been kind of a deal winner. Sometimes us having a $20,000 or $10,000 earnest money deposit. But what is the rule about EMDs? I guess they say, what's the average?
1 to 3%. And again, if you're trying to make it stronger in some areas, say maybe you have not as large as down payment, or you're only going a few thousand over, make that EMD stand out, because you're bringing that money to the table anyway. And it's held in escrow, so it's in a safe place. You're not going to lose it as long as you stay within contract. So the earnest money deposit, just make it as strong as possible.
And you said it, earnest money deposit, it's not free money, it's not money up for grabs, it is going towards down payment and closing costs. Yep. And you're bringing that money to the table anyway. Doesn't hurt to show your initiative to want to buy that house and put a bigger EMD down. Yep. With that being said too, like, you are still protected unless it's a non-refundable EMD. And that's something maybe to talk about is, I've used it every once in a while. We've never lost a non-refundable EMD because we ended up purchasing those homes. Correct. But a non-refundable EMD.
Okay, what that is, and I sort of like it because it's just a step above a lot of other people. So basically, I'm receiving an offer, and it is got a property inspection, and they're giving us, $10,000 earnest deposit, and they say, look, for any reason, if we back out of the contract for any reason, we will forfeit, let's say $3,000. You can have the 3, we'll take the 7 and go on our way. So basically it's extra skin in the game, and that's the fear to a lot of sellers, is that, they're gonna, be beating us up after the property inspection. And that's, we're more competitive with somebody that may be waiving it. We're still gonna do it right in, only looking for, major issues. But look, we're so confident, we want this house, we're going to forfeit $3,000, now that's for any reason. It'd be the inspection, it'd be, title work, anything like that. So,
even too, buyers consistently will ask us, like, hey, if we submit an offer fast, will they accept it? Chances are probably not, unless it's the right offer. A non-refundable EMD needs to be included in that offer if you have any expectation that those sellers are going to accept that offer fast. Yeah. Because if I see a non-refundable, a short inspection period, let's call it like 5 to 7 days, and it's a $3,000 to $5,000 non-refundable EMD, worst case scenario, they lose their EMD and we get $3,000 to $5,000 for being off the market for 5 to 7 days. And it's not about that money, but it's understanding that by accepting this offer, I am accepting less risk.
Yep.
So, great. Yeah, that was a great explanation of earnest money deposit, and definitely a little bit more thorough than what was explained. Waive the appraisal contingency. And people are doing this more times than not. We also incorporate appraisal guarantees.
Yep. So, and what an appraisal, waive appraisal contingency is, a lot of lenders are taking a look at the house, working with their underwriting process and saying, look, that house, with your 20% down, we can waive the appraisal, and here's where it comes in at the value. And that's really beneficial to the buyer, and of course to the seller, because they're secure knowing, like, look, we've got no appraisal at, X amount of dollars.
Yeah. So, and I guess that there's 3 different ways to look at that. A buyer can choose not to waive the appraisal, but to offer an unlimited appraisal guarantee Therefore, in the eyes of the seller, waiving the appraisal. We're not concerned about that value, and it doesn't matter what it is. Obviously, there's more risk with that, but in certain communities where there's been a huge resurgence of property values and appreciation, and there's data, we just did a $60,000 appraisal guarantee, and I thought that we maybe only have to use $15,000 of that. It might have been more effective to waive that appraisal, knowing that we're going to use that. But if you're willing to spend $60,000 at that point in time, based on the data, might as well just say, we don't care what it says. The other thing to that is exactly what I just explained, an appraisal guarantee not to exceed $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, whatever that number is. And we've written as low as 2,500 appraisal guarantees to 60,000 appraisal guarantees. And it's that amount of monetary value over appraised value. And then the last thing is what you were explaining is a waived appraisal in the eyes of a lender based on Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac criterias and data in the market. A lender can go through automatic underwriting and potentially preliminary waive that appraisal, and that's gold because we know that that value is going to appraise. One thing to hit home though, and we just utilized it a second ago, we knew that the appraisal waiver was going to come in at $530 or just round it $500,000, but they wanted to offer $515, so it was an appraisal waiver up to $515 and $15K cash out of pocket to guarantee that appraisal. Ultimately waiving that appraisal so there's no more concerns with that.
Well, and it's knowing what that number looks like. And all that information we just shared with you gets a little confusing because there's a lot of options, but the beauty is, we need to sit down with you and explain those options and choose what the best fit is for you.
Yeah.
So
I've been getting a lot of great questions from a lot of buyers, and I go, it's not a yes or no question. And I think a lot of these things, it's like there's a lot of options, or there's a lot of variables, and the seller's a variable, the agent's a variable, the lender's a variable, we're variables, the buyers are variables.
Yeah.
There isn't a great answer, and that's one thing that I always try to put into buyers is that's not a yes or no. There's a lot of different choices. There's no right or wrong answer. We just need to confidently make that decision and hope for the best. And if we lose, we get feedback. And a lot of agents are willing to give feedback. Hey, we accepted something within a big appraisal guarantee, or they waived inspection. And maybe we take that into consideration for the next offer. So there's no yes or no's. There's only, hey, we need to talk. So
yes.
Make a larger down payment.
If you've got the money, again, if you're competing against a 5% and a 20% down payment, in the big picture, it doesn't question your qualifications to get a mortgage. It just, in the eyes of a seller, you look stronger. So, and again, to strategize, if you've just got 5 or 10% down, we've got to work on these other areas to make it, shine. So it's just what you can do.
Yeah, you said a good phrase. If you have it, we might as well do it or have that conversation of doing it. Obviously, if you don't have 20% down, you don't have 20% down.
Right.
If you don't have 50% down, you don't have 50% down. And certain price points, it doesn't require it, but certain price points, it's a great suggestion to do so. If you're buying $1 million house, you should be putting $20,000+.
Those are the expectations. Yeah. Those are the expectations at that particular price point.
If it's a $300,000 house and your first-time home buyers, they understand 3 to 5, but your 3 to 5 compared to a 20% down does show the sellers kind of like that good faith, like, hey, we're here to buy the home. And it just shows your good financial position to be able to get to the closing table. Yeah. And ultimately with pre-approvals or pre-qualifications, you are showing that you will get to that closing table, but higher EMD, higher money down solidifies that in them knowing like, whoa, like they're financially stable. We're good to go.
Right.
Add an escalation clause. Not everyone acknowledges them, but an escalation clause in the right situation, make sure there's no money on the table, but also like to me, it says, hey, we really want to buy this house and we want to be 2 to 3, maybe even 5 over the next competing offer. It's not about necessarily leaving money on the table, but it's about getting the deal done. The caveat is not every single person acknowledges escalation clauses. They want clean offers. That's not making it clean. What's your best foot forward?
Well, and then you ask the seller's agent, the listing agent, do they accept escalation clauses? Are they comfortable? Now, look, you don't want to go in with an escalation clause. Say the house is $300,000, and you don't want to offer 305, but then I'll go to an escalation of 350.
Yeah.
No. So you put a good, strong offer in and say, look, I'll pay 335 for the house. But I will do an escalation up to 45 if somebody's beating me out by that hair. So that's where I think it's effective.
Yeah, you definitely have to show your willingness and put your best first price forward, because if you're $1,000 over that list price and they see you're willing to go over $100,000, yeah, it's like, well, this guy's just playing games. And if he's playing games now, what is it going to look like through inspection?
It's kind of cheating.
Yeah.
It's cheating.
Those are all being said, but I think the point of this is it's pay with cash. Obviously, if you have the cash and you want to pay in cash, you're going to avoid a lot of these contingencies, financing, appraisal, so on and so forth. But we're seeing young people borrow cash.
Yeah. Borrow from their parents, and then they turn around and refi. Now, the other thing with cash is, remember, cash is not king. So say you have, you're competing, the house is $300,000, and you think you're gonna go in at $300,000, but remember, it's a competitive situation. There's, 325 offers. The seller will wait for the $25,000. They're not going to leave money on the table. So cash is not king. If you're going to go in there with cash, you got to make it, even a bit stronger. And that's, again, a conversation with how many offers are on the table and that kind of thing.
With a guarantee, with appraisals, maybe not in the conversation with the guarantees, how long are you willing to wait for $5,000, for $10,000, for $15,000?
No.
How long are you willing to wait for the extra money in your pocket, especially when there's good contingencies in this case, good contingencies to guarantee that they are going to walk with that cash? I don't know. For me, it's like $5K. So.
Well, I was going to say $5K. I would think the average would be 8 to 10. Is that no? I don't want to leave that money on the table.
Yeah.
Well, $5,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah. And then maybe something that other people would try is maybe counter that cash. Say,
That's
hey,
right.
If you're up another hair, then
It's yours.
Or just counter them. Don't tell them where they need to be, but just counter them. Say, hey, counter offer 510. See what they say.
Yeah.
So it's very formal, and there is a process to those things. The next one, make sure your offer is complete. Not every single offer is created equally in the way it's presented and the things that they are missing. So you want to make sure that you don't miss those. And this is a job for the agent, and make sure you have the right agent doing these things. But make sure you have the pre-approval. Make sure you have, not in every situation will you have an instant EMD receipt, but maybe proof of funds for a large EMD, or proof of funds for an appraisal guarantee. Don't miss your disclosures. Don't miss that pertinent information that is going to be a question to those sellers. Who's the lender? I don't know who the lender is. Where is that?
Yeah.
And then we like one clean PDF.
Yes. Some offers, when I've got multiple offers, guys, is that some just come in sloppy. So what's important is that it just makes my job easier. I know that the transaction will be nice and smooth when I've got an organized, offer and it's presented properly. So it just goes with the whole package.
They come in Remind sometimes, and they come in like 10 different links, and that's more work for us. And again, it's not being a complete offer, but it's being a complete offer, but also being a complete offer that's simple. Because when the seller's receiving multiple offers, that are complete, you want to make sure that you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's. It's like a resume. Shoot, you might have 30 seconds, and if there's a cover letter, make sure you provide great detail in that cover letter, because they might judge you on that. Oh, it's $395. Boom, see you later. But then if they didn't read that there was an escalation clause, then you might have shot yourself in the foot. So one, put your best foot forward, maybe exclude escalation clauses, but make sure you're very, very detail oriented, because you have a short amount of time with multiple offers to be able to catch their attention.
Yep.
So, this one says, offer 1 month of free occupancy. Nowadays, to get deals done, I have to offer at least 60 days of free occupancy, and we can do some form of, rent, PITI. What's that cost? $1,800. So if you're $5K over the next competing offer, but you want 30 days free and 31 through 60 PITI, they're still netting them $2,800 over the next competing offer. So, and then you got to think about that. What is that seller's net? What is that actual take home? But yeah, occupancy is a non-negotiable.
That's true, and it's more of a personal thing. Sellers don't necessarily like to pay rent in their own home, so it's just a cherry on top.
Yeah, and your first mortgage payment is not due until the first month. You close the following month. So 1 month is free. 31 through 60 is definitely going to be one mortgage payment, but the difference between winning and losing, it being one mortgage payment.
Got to think about it.
I'm choosing to win every single day of the week. So
yeah.
So yeah. Bottom line, make your offer stand out. How are you going to stand out? How are you going to present that offer? How clean is that offer? Less contingencies, straightforward, best foot forward. And the one thing that we actually wanted to say is we've been very, very successful with this strategy. What is that strategy?
You asking me?
Paying sellers concessions.
Paying some sellers concessions.
What does that mean?
That means that say, hey seller, we love this house so much that we're going to add something from our toolbox that says we're going to credit you $5,000 towards your closing costs. That can be applied to their commission that the sellers pay out. It can be applied to transfer tax, title, owner's title policy. They have costs too. So you're saying, hey, we're so excited, we want this property, here's $5,000 to offset those costs and to net you $5,000 more.
I was going to say that, seller's net. That's what it comes down to is every single offer should be, the listing agent should provide that seller with a seller's net sheet, what that takeaway is. And we don't necessarily have to be at $500,000. We can be at $490 and offer $10K in concessions, and we're a $500,000 offer because we're taking on those costs. And again, knock on wood, the past 3 offers, we've been successful and we've got them under contract in competitive situations, narrowly beating other offers purely by paying seller's concessions. And it's a good gesture. You know, a high EMD, a big down payment, it's a good faith gesture to show your qualifications. Putting money towards, and maybe it's a smaller appraisal guarantee, and appraisal guarantee is a gamble, but paying seller's cost is a guaranteed, and it's just a great, good faith gesture to say, hey, we want to buy your home.
Yep.
So that's that. So, I'm Chris Lotz.
I'm Pat Lotz.
With the Pat Lotz Real Estate Group. Again, thanks for tuning in to episode 5 of Beyond the Keys, a Pat Lotz podcast. Live local, buy local, use local, and as always, there's lots to love in Livingston County.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to use those like, comment, and share buttons below. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Pat Lotz Real Estate for more helpful home buying and selling tips. Want a free comparable market analysis? Scan that QR code on your screen or visit our website at www.patlotz.com and fill out the request form. There's lots to love in Livingston County.